Hello and welcome to tonight's news. Top story. Tomorrow is the premiere of the all-new Joker movie by Warner Brothers, but many people are concerned that it will inspire a wave of violence across the United States by incels. For an in-depth analysis, we take you now to a panel of experts. Whoa, everything you've heard about this movie is true. Joker kicks ass. This is an absolutely awesome film from DC that not only gives the Clown Prince of Crime a definitive origin story, but is just a compelling film all of its own. If all connections to DC were removed, this would just be an incredible film, the likes of which we saw back in the 70s coming from people like Martin Scorsese. This movie is a triumph of cinema and DC. Now, I'll say this right away, I have nothing to complain about in this movie, nothing at all. Sure, I could probably nitpick a couple things, but that would just be me splitting hairs. This movie is as close to perfect as I could rationalize. I struggle to find anything to complain about. It's just that awesome. Now, first good thing about this movie, right off the bat, it is utterly compelling. We follow the story of a man named Arthur Fleck. Someone who's mentally ill, just got out of a mental hospital, and is trying to make a living as a clown for hire so he can jumpstart his career as a stand-up comic and lift himself and his mum out of poverty. But of course, things don't exactly go according to plan. And what happens instead is he's constantly beaten down again and again until finally he just snaps and becomes Joker. And seeing this is just not only heartbreaking, but, as I said, compelling stuff. And at times the movie is genuinely funny in a very dark and gallows way. I actually laughed a couple times at some of the stuff on the screen, but with that being said, there are also moments when it is scary. The stuff you're seeing on screen will just have you going, well, okay. And a lot of this is thanks to Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur. He was just amazing in this, the transformation as well. Man, I can't tell if the pain Arthur was going through on the screen was just because of Phoenix's performance, or because of the stuff he did to get himself prepared for the role. His dedication for this character, this man deserves an Oscar. If he doesn't get one, that is a human rights violation that must be rectified. On top of that, the story also tackles themes like wealth inequality, mental health, and how society reacts to those in need. It does so with a great deal of nuance and never really goes for a broad stroke approach of the rich are evil, they must be torn down, or the mentally ill are such poor, innocent people, we must help them, society mustn't ignore them. No. It's not afraid to show that sometimes the mentally ill do have a darkness behind them, not all of them, but some do, and that people who are wealthy, they're not all necessarily straight up evil people. Okay, this isn't a movie that's going to really pick a side and tell you this is how things need to be done. It's going to say, look, some things are just messed up and some other things aren't, but there's nothing we can really do about it, even if we try. And that is just awesome. What's more is the movie adapts elements from the comics without actually adapting a straight up storyline. It mainly takes inspiration from The Killing Joke, but unlike the animated adaptation, it's not lifting scenes right out of the book. Earlier as well, I did mention that this film reminded me a bit of Martin Scorsese's work, and that is true because this movie is just gorgeous to look at. The cinematography, the positions of the camera in the scenes, everything just comes together and looks so gorgeous. And it really drives home how just, well, intense Arthur's life is. Like, I probably should have mentioned this before, but you will feel for the guy. Now, the last thing I have to say about this movie is that nothing is what it seems. There are little details hidden throughout that indicates not everything we're seeing is what it appears to be. I'm talking about an unreliable narrator here. There's stuff saying that the movie is completely fiction, nothing really happened, or that Arthur is just imagining everything in his head. There are different ways to look at and approach this film, which gives it a layer of intelligence that the Marvel films just lack in every possible way. And that, more than anything, really makes me consider this to be the best movie of 2019. If you are on the fence about seeing Joker, don't. This movie is a definitive must-buy, and when it comes out on home video, dude, trust me, get the Blu-ray. You will love it. This is one of the best films to not only come out this year, but in the last 10 years. This movie really is a definitive must-see, which is all the more surprising since it's by the guy who made Hangover and Road Trip. I'm not lying. Hey, thanks for checking out this video, I really do appreciate it, and if you guys absolutely adored this review of Joker, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Up next, I'm going to focus on getting my reviews of El Camino and Scary Stories done and out there. But for gaming reviews this month, I'm going to be taking a look at The Outer Worlds, and I've got to say this as well, Joker, right now, it's my top pick for the best movie of 2019. It was just so good. Anyway, I've got all that more coming up, so like usual, just please stick around.